yesterday, the thing that all of us in the spiritual space are trying to avoid at all costs, the thing that we are all so deeply afraid of happening and hope never ever happens, happened to me. A girl from my high school that I'd maybe spoken 5 words to in my entire life sent me a DM and told me that she's very afraid that I have begun to speak to demons, and she's wondering if she should pray for me and if I have ever thought in following the path of Christ. And I decided to talk about this because it's sort of that giant elephant in the room that on both sides of the aisle, we're all just kind of weighing our options and like looking at each other. And, we all kind of sense that there's discomfort around this topic, but nobody ever talks about it. And so I figured having the background as both a trance channel and a coach, someone who understands what it feels like to be in the position where I could be judged or misunderstood, and also understand the psychology that's going on in this scenario, I thought this was the perfect incident to talk about it. To not only one, create a level of awareness around what's really going on here when this sort of thing is happening, so that you can have a more conscious understanding of what this experience really means for you if and when it does happen. And two, for those of you who are in the spiritual space and you're looking to authentically, vulnerably, and fully embrace this part of you, how I have been able to do that and move past the fear of what other people might think of me in the process. So let's get into it. Based on the channeling work that I have done and the conversations that I have had with my spirit guides, it is my personal belief system that there is no one truth. There is simply your truth. And what I mean by that is that we all go through life and we have different experiences. You're born into a family where your parents or your caregivers have their own ideas, interpretations, thoughts, and opinions about themselves and the world around them. And you are hearing them and watching them and witnessing them and taking in their opinions and energy and how they think and feel. And then you're going through your life and you're having your own experiences and you're putting all of this information together, and it's formulating your worldview, how you see the world and how you see yourself. And this becomes your truth, the thoughts and opinions that you formulate based on your worldview and life experience. And we tend to create an association between our worldview, our perspective, and who we are. And so our truth becomes a part of our identity. And when somebody holds a different truth inside of them, a different thought or opinion or belief system, it unconsciously calls into question our own as well as our sense of identity. When someone else's truth doesn't affect us and doesn't bother us anymore, it's because we don't hold any doubt around that particular thing. Like if someone were to come up to you and say, ugh, like your purple dinosaur wings, I don't like them at all, they're really ugly. You'd be like, all right, you're a crazy person, because you don't have any purple dinosaur wings. And so you don't hold any judgment, self-doubt, or shame around that. But if someone says something to you that you're already feeling a little bit of discomfort with inside of yourself, that's when it becomes uncomfortable. That's when it can become triggering. So when someone has a different worldview, opinion, or perspective that makes us uncomfortable, it's because we're already carrying a shred of doubt, insecurity, shame, judgment around that particular thing. And they are mirroring back to us where we're already holding that insecurity or sensitivity within ourselves. And so all they're doing is they're offering you an opportunity to explore that for yourself. And unknowingly, they're actually giving you a gift. They're saying, here, Here is something that you didn't realize was there. And now you have two choices. One, you can choose to ignore it and not look at it, or two, you can see an opportunity to explore it and uncover a part of yourself that you didn't know was there. And so when I am triggered by somebody, and this is how I know that I'm triggered by them, when I feel a need to change their mind, justify why I feel a certain way, when I need to explain why they might not understand something fully, when I feel some frustration or anger or an uncomfortable feeling or sensation to either tell them that they're wrong or change their mind or not talk to them anymore, that's how I know that I'm being triggered. When it doesn't bother me, then their comment or opinion, like, I forget about it completely. So that's the tell. So when you recognize that they're triggering you and that their truth is reflecting back to you where you're holding discomfort within your own, you have two choices. One, you can choose to ignore that it's bothering you and forget about it. Or two, you can decide to explore it. And without shame and without judgment, it's not wrong that they're triggering you. It's actually really exciting because now you get to understand yourself better. You get to explore a new part of yourself that you didn't know was there. And you get to ask yourself, one, does this bother me? Yes or no? Two, why does it bother me? What about their truth makes me uncomfortable? How can I feel safe within my truth when they hold a different one? And why can't I feel safe now? What thought or belief system did I maybe inherit from those around me that was never mine to begin with, but that I have unknowingly taken on that I am ready to now let go of? The reason why we feel threatened when someone else has a different truth than we do is because they are unknowingly reflecting back to us where we don't feel comfortable within an aspect of who we are. That's all it is. And so it becomes your work, or it can become your work, to find safety and acceptance within who you are and what you believe, and allow them to believe in something completely different and recognize that you can feel safe within that. You don't have to convince them that they're wrong. You don't have to justify why your belief system is different from theirs and why you might have an argument for why you believe in the way you do. That it is completely fine and completely safe for them to have their opinion and for you to have yours. This does not mean that you can take their abuse or verbal aggressions. That is not what I'm saying. You can also create a boundary with someone and say, I respect that you have a different belief system from me, but I'm feeling confronted and therefore I am not going to engage with you anymore. That is also possible. You can both create a boundary and also allow them to have their truth while you have yours. This is truly how I have been able to fully embrace who I am, what I believe in, and what I do, and not be bothered when someone else can't handle that. Because I see what's really going on there. They are just afraid and feeling like they have to defend their identity because something within what I'm saying and what I'm doing is calling into question something that they don't recognize is there within themselves. And so I just send them peace and love, and maybe one day they will identify what that is and work on it for themselves, and maybe they won't, but that is their journey, not mine. And so I get to now fully embrace who I am, which feels so good to me, and feel safe within doing so because I get to have my truth and they get to have theirs.